All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by Jack Quaid, whose new movie, Novacaine, is out today. Jack, you play a guy who cannot feel any pain.
Yeah.
Do you wish that was your life in real life?
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, for certain things, yes. Like, I would love to never stub my toe and feel that again. Like, that would be great, because that takes me out for a good 5 minutes.
Oh, at least.
Of just like,
hitting your funny bone.
Stub toe, funny bone, paper cut.
Yeah.
Paper cut I don't love. I feel like I don't interact. I don't have that a lot anymore, just because I'm like, just paper is not so much a part of my life as it used to be. But in school, that was always like a thing. But no, I mean, like, pain is also in a lot of ways a good thing, because I learned through doing this movie, pain is very much the body's warning system. And just because you can't feel pain doesn't mean you can't get hurt. So it's kind of like the condition he lives with, my character lives with, is kind of, it can be quite dangerous. It is kind of, and it's, it's a very dangerous thing that he has to really monitor and then risk it all to save the woman he loves. But it seems like a blessing, but it can be a curse in a lot of ways.
Right, because we do see in the trailer for the movie it being said to your character, like, you could still die.
Yeah. Oh, he can still die.
Yeah.
That's definitely still on the table. Like, the stakes are still high. He won't feel it, but he could pass out, he could bleed out, he could, all the stuff. Yeah.
Just no warning.
Just no warning. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, that's
just no warning.
Hence why he doesn't eat any solid food. It was another part of this too. I will clarify, because everybody's listening. They're like, "Wow, we watched the movie. We
Incredible.
loved it.
Oh my God,
thought
thank
it was
you.
amazing. Yes, it was a lot of fun.
We got a little,
Yeah,
sneak.
sometimes we do get to watch them early, which does make us excited.
That's very cool.
Yes.
Thank you for seeing it. I'm really happy you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I thought it was really, really cool.
good.
So it's like we can talk and we know what we're talking about, but for everybody listening, let's back it up for a second.
Okay, cool.
Explain the premise. You did a little bit, but let's.
Movie's called Novacaine. I play Nathan Caine, a man who feels no pain, and all of that rhymes. It's great. He has a genetic disorder where he can't feel any physical pain. So, like I was saying before, he has to live kind of this safe, sheltered life. Like, when we first see him in the beginning of the movie, you see his apartment. Every sharp corner on the table is covered by a tennis ball. You know, he's just really. I kind of thought of him as like a balloon in a world of pins. You know, he just has to be very careful. But his disability kind of keeps him at an arm's distance from the world, and he's starting to feel a little bit lonely. He's 30. He hasn't really had a romantic relationship before. And then he meets Sherry, played by the unbelievable badass that is Amber Midthunder, and she changes his life, and they go on a date, and he falls in love. And then the next day, he works at a bank. Bank gets robbed. Sherry gets taken, and he then uses this disability as a superpower, and he kind of risks everything to save her. So it is a gnarly, batshit insane, gory action movie. But I also think it's one of the sweeter films I've ever done. Like, it's a crazy contrast. Like, Nate as a character, I wanted to make sure he was like a cupcake of a human being to contrast how violent this movie is.
Right. Yeah, that is really sweet. And the way that you described Nate and your character being a balloon surrounded by pins, you would almost think the opposite, though. If you were to hear somebody in real life could experience no pain, you would be like, well, they're invincible. They must not be afraid of anything.
Yeah.
But you do have to be more cautious.
Yeah.
And you described the film as gory and violent. There's a lot going on. Did you feel any pain while filming it as a person?
Thank God, no, I didn't. Like, I never got hurt, which is so great. Like, it just, I also understood that irony. I'm like, oh, if I get hurt on a movie about not feeling pain, that's embarrassing. No, because our stunt team was incredible. They treated everything very seriously, made sure everything was very safe. I did get into maybe the best shape of my life, which is all gone now, but I got into really good shape, just to, not so much to look cool, but more so to, like, every day I was filming something insane and very physical. So I was in the gym a lot, and I felt that pain, but no injuries, nothing too crazy, which is insane, because this movie is absolutely crazy.
Yes, it definitely is. There were a few times I was like, kind of watching like this with one eye kind of peaked, or not to give anything away, but there's one moment with fingernails.
I was about to say that's the moment where that's my line too. I can't watch that, and I shot that. It's so weird to, like, know what every single, like, you know, I watched them apply these prosthetics to me over hours, and I still am like, ooh, like I still.
You almost feel like you could feel it watching it.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I even know how it all works, and I'm still like, oh God, like
you're
watching
behind
through
the
my
curtain,
fingers.
right?
Yeah,
and it's still like, but it's not a genre that you're unfamiliar with.
Yeah,
the gore and the
gore for sure. And mostly,
and
I think I look weird in a movie if I'm dry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to be covered in some form of goo.
Yeah,
in order for me to feel complete.
Now with all this.
It's going to be great out of context. It's going to be awesome.
Perfect. Clip that.
That's what we'll post out for sure.
Clip it, make it a GIF. That'll follow me around for the rest of my life.
Yeah. People can lip sync. Yeah.
This is the life I signed up for, though. That's basically it. Sorry, I cut you guys off.
No, you're good.
I mean, you said you've been having a blast with this press tour. You walked in filled with energy. What makes this press tour a little bit different?
There's just something, I mean, it's just... The stuff we've been doing has been incredibly fun. I got to do something really fun at a Clippers game recently where I came in. Yeah, we came in. We did kind of a, I guess, guerrilla marketing thing where Amber Midthunder and I, we sat courtside, which just on its own, that's fucking awesome. To sit courtside at a Clippers game. And I'm an Angelino. I've never been to a Clippers game, so that was awesome. But the whole thing was when the camera first is on us and we're on live TV, I have like a sling and a cast and maybe some bruising in the face. So I'm kind of sort of in character. I'm like half me, half Nate. And I'm not playing the pain at all. I'm like fully clapping like there's no injury. And then throughout the course of the night, we added more and more injuries, like another cast and a neck brace and a headband with a little bit of blood and more bruising, to the point where when the Clippers won the game, which was amazing, go Kawhi Leonard, I'm just like standing up like, yes, like goal. And I have like 2 casts on me, one of which says go Clippers. It was just... I've always wanted to market a movie in a way like that.
Right,
that was really,
that's
really
so
fun.
Cool. That's so fun and interesting. Did everybody around you ask, like, what are you promoting?
A couple people did.
Are you okay?
But it was so fun. Every time they did, I just wouldn't acknowledge it. I was just like, it's a magical night for basketball. Like, I never actually said like, no, I'm fine.
Right.
It was great.
Look at this team.
Look at this team. My favorite thing on the they had me on the, they interviewed us in the middle of the court, and we're like, our sound is being projected everywhere. We're on the Jumbotron. And she asked me if I'm okay. And earlier in the night, they had this birthday celebration for, I guess, the Clippers mascot, Chuck, who's like a bird of some kind. And I was just like, I just want to say happy birthday to Chuck.
Yeah.
It's just, Chuck, you've been here for so long, putting in the time. And I really am proud of Chuck. He's doing great.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's great. Yeah. And couldn't have worked out better with the way that the game went. Like I saw,
God.
Right?
It was
like
a great game.
Yeah,
I was there. I was there, like courtside when he threw that shot, the game-winning last-minute shot. Unbelievable.
Which is amazing. I was gonna say, great for the movie.
Great for the film.
For the movie.
I was just like, at least it was an entertaining game.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Those pictures don't get posted everywhere if there's no overtime.
If the Clippers lose, we're screwed.
Right.
So thank you, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, exactly. You're back doing it again.
Yeah.
That's very funny. But so I was gonna say that there's a lot of obviously training that goes into it. You're fighting. You're doing all these things.
Yeah.
Has that gone into your real life at all? Like, do you feel like you could take somebody on between your, the boy's character now?
Sure. Well, the boy's character, he's usually cowering in a corner. He doesn't really.
But you see that all.
Yeah, of course, I see it all. He can get into a scrappy fight if he needs to.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do I think I could beat someone in a fight? No. I think if anyone punched me on the street, they could get away with it for sure. I'd cry immediately and
run away.
That would be. I don't want to be here being like, "Come and take me, come and fight me." No, I'm not gonna do that.
The choreographed fighting is so interesting to me because
I know how to choreograph fight. If someone lays out the moves, I can dance. Essentially,
so much goes into it. What's the prep like? Ryan Nicholson plays the robber opposite you, and you're the guy you're chasing. So what are you guys talking about before a scene like that?
Ooh, I mean, Ray and I, we probably rehearsed more than, in terms of the fight scenes, we did so many rehearsals for that. I mean, that's like the final fight at the end of the movie, and that was super complicated. The biggest challenge for if I get punched, my head's gonna move, but I can't wince. Like I can't show pain,
so
which
true.
is
I
such
didn't even think about that
it's like
too.
such a thing that.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get all like hoity-toity about it, but I guess that's where I'm taking this.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Buckle up for a hoity-toity. Sorry.
I'm following you.
Here we go. We're here.
We're here.
We're in
I'm
hoity-toity
buckled up.
lands, and I'm taking
Yes.
you. I'm
We're
taking you there.
locked in.
No, I mean, I think a way that I figured that out was I kind of looked at silent film stars and what they would do, and something Buster Keaton would do. His whole shtick was that insanity would be happening around him, and yet he remained very stoic. He almost didn't react to everything nuts that was happening around him. He was known as the Great Stone Face. So as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, like I think I watched some documentary on Buster Keaton, which is really, really good and fascinating for a lot of reasons. But as soon as I realized that I could kind of use my non-reaction for comedy, everything kind of fell in place. I kind of come from sketch comedy, so I'm like, oh, I understand the joke of it, so I kind of can understand the combat more and the dance more. And no, that really helped. But for that last scene with Ray and I don't want to spoil too much about it, but I can tell you one thing that was cut from that scene that I wish was still in the movie, but sadly had to be cut. I kind of get it. Originally, that scene was a little longer than it is in the final movie, and I think test audiences were like, these are two invincible beings. Why isn't one of them at least going down? You know?
Yeah.
But there was a moment where Ray knocks out one of my teeth, and I spit it back at him. I spit my tooth at him, and it gets lodged in his eye. Ooh. And I wanted that so bad. Oh God, that'd be so great. And we shot it. It's on the cutting room floor somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe one day it'll be out there.
How do you film something like that? Like losing a fake tooth?
Ooh.
Like,
well,
can you give us a little movie magic?
Yeah, let's see. There was a lot of things that went into that. Well, they gave me a fake tooth to spit out, and that was actually maybe my scariest moment on set. I was like, what if I accidentally swallow a fake tooth?
What if you choke?
What if I choke on a fake tooth? That's a very specific way to go.
Yeah, and then they end the movie with that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He doesn't feel pain. He just chokes on the fake tooth.
He just chokes on a fake tooth, and that's it. And it's done. And
what
it's
a twist!
Just a bummer ending.
Yeah.
Choked on a fake tooth. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fine. Sure. No, but that whole sequence was nuts. We actually had an amazing visual effects team, a prosthetics team. I have all these behind the scenes videos of. I mean, I don't know. There is a moment in the movie. Maybe it's slightly a spoiler, but there is a moment where I have to break my own thumb, and that was all done practically. Like there's a rig where they kind of have this little robot thumb that's like right here, and I'm hiding my real thumb there, and I'm wearing this thing, and there's just this guy, Clinton. He's this South African visual effects artist who's like a mad genius. He's very soft-spoken, but he's like, I'm going to make it look like your hand is broken. Like he's just, and he's always like smiling, but I love him so much. But he's essentially controlling the fake thumb. And I love how practical all of our effects are, because I think it makes it way more visceral and makes you want to cringe and cover your eyes.
Right, exactly.
Definitely.
What was the longest you sat in like a makeup chair to get something done?
Ooh. It's funny. I think 3.5 hours, which isn't that long considering, there's people like Doug Jones, who like every day they come into work, they're like becoming a fish man. And like, that's insane. I think 4 hours one day. I think 4 hours was my max. And that was all my prosthetics. I have tattoos in the movie, all of those. But what I got into the habit of is we found a way to like make it so I could watch movies, and I watched it with the whole team, and everyone there was lovely, so it was great to spend time with them. But eventually we just started watching I was rewatching the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, which was great, and definitely something I think Nathan would watch every year. We watched Mad Max, which a lot of them, because we shot in South Africa, a lot of those guys worked on that movie. And we would just be watching, I don't know, some cool scene with Furiosa, and they would have all these little tidbits about like how they did certain things. And that was great. That was just like a great way to pass the time and just look more and more fucked up. It was yeah.
Oh, it's very true. Well, I think everyone can get very excited to go see this movie this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like that's so they're out in theaters now. But we're so excited to have you and talk
God, thank you for having
with
me.
you. And you mentioned that sketch comedy was kind of part of your life early on. Where did that love come from, like, to jump into sketch comedy?
Ooh, I mean, I've always loved watching sketch comedy. Like, I remember they used to have these SNL box sets of, like, the best of Chris Farley or whatever, and you just watch everyone's greatest hits, and I always thought that was amazing. And then when I was always, like, making little movies when I was a kid. I would get, like, this Sony camera with, like, a mini DV tape, and eventually I learned iMovie HD. And I remember I had these friends in middle school, and we would do this thing. We would, like, shoot these videos, we called them. They were essentially sketches, and we didn't really realize it, but we called it Epic Fest. And it was this thing. It was a Facebook group. Yep. You know, back when Facebook wasn't a nightmare.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was a back when you would write on your friend's wall, "Hey, happy birthday!"
Yeah. Or like for truth is.
Exactly. It's not just like an article your uncle has posted, and everyone's getting really upset, and there's a whole paragraph. It used to be a different place, but it was a Facebook group called Epic Fest.
Love it.
And
it was epic.
It was epic.
Yeah.
Sick.
It was every summer. It was 4 of us, and we would break off into 2 teams of 2. And over the course of 1 week, both teams would film like 3 videos, and they were like a couple minutes long each, and we never knew what the other team was going to post, but we always knew that we would post them on the same day. And then, like, our whole school, seemingly, or like a bunch of different people in our school, were a part of the Facebook group, and at the very end of it, they all voted on which team presented the best collection of videos, and it was just the best time. And like, I've always been trying to find a way to essentially do Epic Fest as a career. That was like kind of my secret dream. But then I got to college, and there was a sketch comedy team called Hammercats, and I auditioned for it, and I got on, and like, I was a drama major. I never did a play just because every month I was writing for and performing in a show. We go to other schools and perform. And then actually last night I got to surprise some NYU kids at a screening.
So cool.
And I was like, did a surprise Q&A, and our moderator is the current director of Hammercats. That's that college sketch group. So it was so cool to see that it's still around.
Right.
And he's doing such a great job with it. Shout out to Matam. You're incredible. But just to see, like, you know, NYU kids and screen the movie for them was truly
Full
like
circle.
Soul healing for me. It was awesome.
That is really
amazing.
cool. Did you love all the SNL 50 stuff recently?
I really did. It was the kind of a embarrassment of riches. It was just like, there was so much stuff. I still haven't really seen all of it yet, but it was incredible.
It
was
been so good. Was like acting and getting into this field kind of the only thing that you like?
You would assume, right? With who I come from, I guess. But yes, but they never really pushed it on me one way or the other. Obviously, they were an example that it was possible.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if you say, you know, usually the average person, if they're like, "Mom, Dad, I want to be an actor," your parents will look at you as if you're insane. And so mine didn't, you know, because they were probably like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah,
like, they were probably more like that. But I remember they put a real emphasis on just being a kid when I was a kid and not trying to like do anything professional. It wasn't a hard and fast rule. They were just like, have fun with your friends. And I was like, I'm going to make Epic Fest.
Yeah,
so then you'll see.
I'll show you guys.
I'll show you. But then I had a giant crush on this girl. And I remember in middle school, she asked me what I like to do for fun on the weekends. And I said, I like to watch TV and play video games. And I felt like the most boring dude on the planet. And then I found out she was doing or auditioning for the school play. And I'm like, okay, now's my shot to see if I actually like this. And I did it. And it was Midsummer Night's Dream. I got Nick Bottom, who's the guy who gets turned into a donkey. And I had such a blast. I met all these kids that are still my best friends.
Yeah.
So there's
That's
this
amazing.
sense of community and getting my first laugh on stage. So I really fell in love with it kind of on my own terms in a way where I'm like, I genuinely love this and want to pursue this because I love it, not for any other reason. And I'm so grateful that that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned getting your first laugh on stage.
Oh, yeah.
What is that feeling like?
Still chasing it.
Yeah, still chasing that high.
Still chasing that high. Seriously, nothing has topped that. I'm not joking. Nothing. Like, it was awesome. Yeah. No, that was great.
It's like the moment you realize you're kind of funny in real life.
Yeah.
You know, like with your friends, you're like,
oh, maybe but that's the difference, right? You can be funny with your friends, but there was something about being on stage and then like getting a laugh I'm trying to get from an audience, like an intended laugh. Please give it to me. And I got it. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
This is
love it.
amazing.
Better than Epic Fest.
Better than Epic Fest.
What was the first gig that you booked that was like, okay, all right, this is a career. Like now it's, maybe moving on from Epic Fest.
Yeah. If you
ever could.
If we
if
even
you ever
should.
Could. Yeah,
if we must.
Yeah.
No, I think my first real big movie that I booked, I remember I went to NYU and I would audition for things. I would go back to LA and I would, like when spring break was happening, when people were going to like Miami or whatever, I was like going back to LA and I was like seeing if I could get in any rooms. And yeah, I auditioned for the Hunger Games, and I remember being on that set, and I don't know if I was like, I've made it, like this is a career. I think maybe I was more like, oh my God, this is such a big movie, and what if I fuck all this up? And I was so scared, but then going there and meeting all those people who were all more or less the same age, getting to watch Jennifer Lawrence put in such an iconic, incredible performance. And she was like 22 or something. It was nuts to watch, and she's so incredible and continues to be incredible. That was just life-changing, just to be there. It really did feel like summer camp. Like when we were actually there, it didn't feel like the biggest thing on the planet, even though I knew the books were very popular. So that was great. It was my first real experience on a set as an actor. You know what I mean? Like I visited my parents' sets before, but there's something about being on a set when you're not involved with the thing, where you just feel like a part of the machine that doesn't really belong. You're just kind of like, okay, I don't know what to do here. But, getting used to that rhythm as an actor was really cool. And I don't know, I miss all of those guys. Every single person was incredible.
Yeah. When you booked The Boys, did you have any idea kind of like the crazy cult following that would come with it?
Absolutely not. Yeah. I did not know. When I first read... I remember I read the script first, and it was like, read the script, there would be a meeting with you and Eric Kripke, and I read the script. I thought it was amazing. I did not realize it was based off a comic book. I thought Eric had just written a brilliant script about America and just inserted superheroes into it. And then I met with him, kind of like a pre-audition meeting, just to get a sense of me, I think. And that went really well. I really liked him. All my friends were so stoked for me. They were like, Eric Kripke, the supernatural guy? He's the best. Like, they were just like, oh my God, no way.
That's amazing.
And then I think I auditioned for that show once with Erin Moriarty, once just on my own, and then once with Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And that was super intimidating because they're heroes of mine. And I remember Seth Rogen actually read Butcher's lines in the scenes with me.
Yeah.
But did not attempt to do a British accent. Just was like, oi, Huey, we got to get him in the boot. Then we're going to bugger off. It was just like, it was so surreal. I probably almost lost the job because I was way too focused on how odd this was. But no, I had no idea. I knew I liked it. I knew we all liked what we were working on. We thought it was new and weird, but we also knew that it was a big swing. We had no clue that it would take off in the way that it did. And then I was so unbelievably happy when it did. I'm still so grateful for that show. It changed everything for me overnight. It just changed my life for the better, like basically immediately. And that never happened. So, I mean, thank you, Eric Kripke. Thank you to the whole show. And now it's ending, which is so crazy. And we're shooting the last season right now. But I love that it's our intended ending. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, that's so rare in TV these days. Usually you just find out you're canceled and you're like, I guess that was the ending.
Yeah, right.
And that's the deal. But
you could sort of prepare for this ending now.
Yeah, and it's also Eric's intended ending for the series, which is unbelievable. We get to go out on our own terms, see all these character arcs through. We've been at it for a couple of months now. It's so gnarly. I think it's an amazing season so far. Daveed Diggs is there this season. I won't tell you who he plays or what he does, but he's crushing it.
Amazing.
He's so good.
That's amazing.
And
No, you're good. Sort of bittersweet though, right? For, a show that you love so much. Everybody loves it, has such a strong fan base.
Oh, yeah.
Coming to an end, you can kind of move on to other projects, but it has to be a little bit bittersweet.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to weep like a baby. Like, I am going to be so sad when it's over. But I read something recently about, because it's 5 seasons, but that's 7 years of my life, really, that I've known everyone. And I read something recently where if you've known someone for 7 years, the chances are like tripled that you'll be in each other's lives for the rest of your lives.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
I saw that.
I've also seen that on, that gets
we all
shared
have
on
the
people's
same
Instagram
algorithm,
stories.
guys.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
that shows up on the For You page. It's like 7 or 8 years, I think. They're like, that's when people really
that could be
cement
utter
themselves
bullshit.
in.
We don't know. But I remember being like,
Yeah.
thank you for you, Paige. Thank you so much.
I will giving you a warm hug.
Yeah.
Oh.
I will keep those friends that I was
Yeah.
planning on keeping on.
I wasn't going to, but now I
they're
will.
Now I
Definitely
guess they're
staying.
stuck with me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
guess so.
Now
No,
they're
but they're all just lovely people, and it's such a cliche. You hear it all the time, but we really, truly have become a family.
Yeah.
And we really we just get along. We just, I don't know. Like, I grew up as an only child. Carl Urban, Laz Alonso, and Tamara Capone are my older brothers that I never had. They are, in the best way, constantly giving me shit, and it is my favorite thing on the planet. And Karen is my sister that I never had, who's just like, everything's fine.
Yep.
We're good. Everything's totally cool. But they're the best. And everyone, even the people I don't really work with too often, like the Soups and everyone is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
That is like a family, and you need that. You need the people in your life that's going to give you a little shit.
Yeah.
Like your own family would.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Make fun of you, humble you.
That's all they do. I consider me humbled.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Sometimes you're like, okay, I got it.
Do you have a favorite crazy storyline from your character on that show?
Ooh. Oh, there's so many.
There's so much.
I
but
will just never forget shooting a scene inside of a beached whale. Like, that is truly, and they built. I just love in the room. Everyone's like, right, yeah, that did happen.
He's like, I remember that.
There's so much going on. No, they built a whale. Like, they made a whale. They put it on a beach, and there's an interior and an exterior. It was crazy. That I remember that even. There's a whole sequence where we're driving in a boat, going into said whale, and I remember we're shooting it on Lake Ontario, pretending to be the ocean, but it's very choppy that day. And I remember Carl Urban is actually driving the boat. Like, it's just the real actors in the boat.
Yep.
We're being shot from a helicopter. It is windy, and the helicopter's making a lot of noise. Carl, he drives a lot of boats, but he was like, guys, if anyone is feeling unsafe for whatever reason, the safe word is Carl, Carl, Carl. And for story reasons, I have to be at the front of the boat, which you would, if you're in rocky waters, you're never going to be at the front of the boat.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the front.
Because that's the thing going up, down, up, down. And I have to be like the first one in the whale, so I can't move. So we start going. It is so choppy. I am getting tossed so much. I think in the shot, I'm holding onto the sides and kind of like surfing on it, because I realized if I was sitting down, the seat was kind of like punching me in the ass. Like, it was horrible for my back. So, we're going. And I remember Laz Alonso, who plays Mother's Milk, he was like, dude, I thought you were like riding those waves. I was like, Jack is strong. This is awesome. But really, no one can hear me. I'm just facing the other way and I'm going, Carl, 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 Carl. Like, I thought I was just going to get like catapulted out of the boat. It was insane. And I remember
nothing like no one being able to hear your safe word.
Oh, yes, true. Like, overall, but it's his name and he can't even hear it. And I remember we stopped, and then I turned around and everyone could see I was really frazzled. So for some of the other shots, we didn't have a stunt double that day for whatever reason, but I remember there was this one random grip who kind of fit my build. And they were like, does anyone want to be the stunt double for Jack? And he was like, I'll do it. And they put a Jack Quaid wig on this man. And so, fun fact about that, anything from the back, that is this random grip who, sir, you are a hero. That was, I don't think I'll ever forget all of that.
Oh my God, that is incredible. What a savior.
Seriously, thanks for saving the day.
All he had to do was take one puff of his cigarette and he was ready to go.
He was like, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's go. Like, it was the most badass
Kept the
thing
pack
I've
by
ever
his
seen.
side.
Oh, that is amazing.
Oh, that's too good.
We do have to wrap up, sadly. We're having a ton of fun here.
Yes.
But our last question is, thanks to our wonderful sponsor at Armani Beauty.
Yes,
we love
thank you.
Armani Beauty. You mentioned all the makeup, everything that goes into your character, Nate, for Novacaine.
Yeah.
The tattoos are really extensive.
They are. Yes, they are.
Are you pro or against tattoos?
I am now pro. I've never been anti, I'd say. I just never thought I was a guy who could pull off tattoos in any capacity. But then after playing this guy who is also a dude who probably should be able to pull off tattoos, and then seeing the movie and being like, I actually can. I'm not going to do full body like him, but I definitely want to. I had to learn how to tattoo for the movie. Like that, I would practice with a tattoo gun because I have to work with that a little bit. And they would give me these like sheets of fake skin. It's very gross. But I would like practice by doing these smiley faces. If you came into my apartment, it looked insane. It looked like a serial killer. Like, there's skin sheets, and there's just smiley faces on all of them.
Don't worry, I'm just practicing.
Just don't worry, I'm practicing. It's for a film. But I think I want to do. I think I want to do like one smiley face that, like, based off of one I draw, like somewhere.
Just to you have to
that's
commemorate
cool.
it.
Will you do it yourself?
There's no way. I can feel pain, and it will affect my performance.
Someone coming into your apartment, you're like, just do it yourself. I'm like, oh,
it's for a film. Yes, no, it's just this jagged, crazy-looking smiley face.
I kind of think it's like you get the bug, right? It's like that's what people say when they start getting tattoos. You probably look at yourself in the mirror with all of Nate's tattoos. You're like,
I could actually pull this off.
I think I rock this.
Our two directors actually got matching Novacaine tattoos at the end of the movie.
There you go.
So I'm like, okay.
So
all right.
maybe that you'll keep
the smiley face will be the thing.
But the smiley face will be your gateway.
Yes, absolutely.
Safely.
Exactly.
My gateway smiley face.
Exactly.
Tattoos. Yeah.
Well, everybody, please head to the movie theater. You can go check out Novacaine in theaters now.
Theaters now. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks for
you,
having me.
Jack.
Thanks.
This was a blast.